Okay, recording.
All right, so today we're here working with Cedric, and he is a recent rescue dog, and he's had some kind of early life trauma, which has led to him being quite fearful. And fearful to the point where he's been spending time outside and not wanting to come in sometimes when one of the guardians is in the house. And that means that you obviously can't be teaching other behaviors like sit and other things like that to build the relationship, because he's so fearful if you move your hand around too much that he gets nervous. So what we're working on is this thing called CER, Conditioned Emotional Response. And what I'm trying to help him do is see that when I move my arm up, I'm going to give him a treat. We practiced this a little bit right before we started the video, so he's a little used to it. But earlier, if I had moved my hand enough like that, he would have backed up and probably hid away from me. So what we want to be doing is just desensitizing him, so when he sees my hand go up like that, he gets a treat now. And he's starting to realize that my hand moving around like this is not actually scary. And he can see that, and then that will help us do other things. Sit. Good boy. So we've also been now working on sit, because now I can move my hand around without it scaring him. Good boy. A trick and tip, if he gets nervous, put a treat in your hand, put it like this, like you almost have a ping pong ball sitting in here, and then start to slowly bring your hand down, and it encourages dogs to come over, because an open palm means this treat is for you, a closed palm means it's not. Another thing that you can be working on him with to help him build that confidence is taking a treat and putting it in my closed palm and letting him push his nose into my hand to ask to essentially have the treat. And it's to build his confidence that he can actually be more persistent and be confident and ask for the treat, instead of kind of being hiding and pulling away. So we're really just kind of building up him and his confidence by encouraging him, which is usually what we wouldn't do with a dog, but with his lack of confidence, we actually want him to be able to be more persistent. Now, in the beginning, he wouldn't have pushed it towards my hand at all. Now he's starting to kind of use a little more pressure. There we go. We do this with like a touch game. So what we can do here is go like this, have him touch, put the treat back on your hand. And go like this, have him touch, put the treat on your hand. As we work on it, I want him to touch firmer. It means that he'll build up that response. So I want him to put there. Now he pushed into my hand a little more. The great thing about this game is that if you practice this at home, a lot of times with my dogs, I teach them how to do almost patty cakes. So I go like 1, 2, 3, and I build that up, because it takes a little bit of time before they get the treat. But it cancels out other distractions. So if he's scared and you've built this up really well, and say you're going to the vet and he's a little nervous, you can play this game with him, bring some treats, and it can help redirect his attention onto you. And it's motion based. So instead of trying to teach the dog to sit and stay, that stationary kind of position is only going to make him more and more anxious, because it only gives him more time to sit and look around and think about what's scaring him. Where if instead we get him to be moving and he's looking for the target, like now touch. Good. So now he's starting to look like, where does she want me to go? Touch. And we're starting to teach him to look for something and to be an actor. Instead of being passive and just sitting there, we're teaching him to actively do something on his own, which is going to build confidence and help him learn how to cancel out other distractions. And again, just to notice how he's starting to push his head towards me, as in like, I want the treat, I want that, and that's good for a dog that's been this fearful. Again, I just want to practice reaching my hand way up, and again, that's something that would have made him nervous before. Hand up, give him the treat. And this is the type of thing that you want to be doing for all sorts of other stuff, like say with his guardian that he's more nervous about, as you walk towards him. And if he would usually bark at you, maybe your wife give him treats as you start to take a step forward, give a treat, then you take a step back, and then take a step forward, give a treat, take a step back. And so he starts to learn you approaching is awesome. It's really good. It's amazing. And he starts to break the old habit. And if anything, he's like, no, walk more, keep coming, because I get more and more treats only when you walk towards me. Now, it's important to, though, not give treats when you're not doing that. So if you're walking away, don't give him treats, because that's reinforcing something he might already want. So we want to build up that exciting, like, you're walking towards me. Good. You can do this with noises in the home. Say you have like he gets nervous when you turn the dishwasher on, or a blender. You can make the blender. Well, I would usually say we don't want this, but for a dog that's fearful, it's actually a good thing. So I'm going to only encourage it to be building the confidence. Cedric. Sit. There we go. So he got a little nervous, you can see that. See if we can do it again. Not making him nervous though. Sit. Good. So now we're building up sit, which is awesome. So he can start to make that association between his behavior and you moving your hand up as sit in a good positive response. Good boy. See if we can get to go into a stand just by holding the treat right in front of his nose, moving him a little forward. Stand. There. So now we got him into a standing position. And this is all from us starting off with me just moving my hand around while he ate a treat so he was comfortable with my hands moving. Because at first, again, he was not comfortable with my hands moving. It made him anxious. Now, once I started working on that and broke that down, I can start manipulating him to move around by moving my hands around because now he's starting to think of that as a positive thing where before he didn't. So this is how we're going to help Cedric overcome a lot of his fears by just breaking things down into the smallest pieces and thinking about different components. Like if he's nervous about the furniture moving, think about the sound and the movement separately. So can you make the furniture make a noise or just move without the sound partially so you can build up his confidence and then you start to put more and more pieces together until he's no longer fearful. Awesome. So that's the end of this video.